What's up, y'all? So I just did a level cap with the Coda Synapse, and it kind of inspired me to talk about just how DE goes about with making new weapons in this game, because the Coda Synapse it's a weapon. It's like the Synapse, but with a little bit more damage, and I think I've heard other people talking about how the Coda Synapse was kind of underwhelming, and some of the other Coda weapons were as well. And so I thought I would just do like a little mini rant about it. I'll show the builds at the end, and I'll also show some dumbless kills too without me yapping. I'll probably put like a timestamp up on the screen. So I just have a few points I wanted to mention, but the first thing is that like some other people were saying, the Synapse, it's just blatantly lazy. Like, come on. It's like you get like 5% status chance and 1% crit chance. And then of course the progenitor, which the progenitor does make a big difference because 60% extra damage and an element is pretty significant. But that doesn't even count because that's just the bare minimum for a lich weapon, is that you get the progenitor. So it's just like, it just feels lazy. And then also the Sporothrix, I don't remember the exact stats for that, but that was basically the exact same weapon as well. And see, it's just like, it's just lazy. That's the only way to put it. That just got me thinking about how there's so many irrelevant weapons in this game. A lot of them are just not interesting, and a lot of them just suck. So that brings me to the next point, which is just that DE will make new weapons, and they're either overpowered, in which case they usually get nerfed, or they're underpowered and they just get forgotten and no one cares about them. Which, it sucks that it's like that, because a lot of the weapons that they make aren't that unique, but sometimes you do get an actual cool weapon, like the Riot 848, which I do think is pretty cool, but it just doesn't do enough damage. That's all it is. It doesn't do enough damage, but I already know they're not going to change it. Even though it would take literally 5 seconds to just double the damage, and it's good. Maybe, I don't know if double. I haven't used the weapon that much, so I don't know how much more damage it needs, but yeah, it's just, all they have to do is just a slight stat bump and it'll be good. But no, after a weapon is out, it's either getting nerfed or probably never getting touched again, and I just hate how that's the way it is. And Warframe already has enough irrelevant weapons. Like, when I first started playing the game, it was genuinely overwhelming how many weapons there are, until you start playing and realize that 90% of them are just useless. And just to stress that point, there are 4 struns in this game, and the Mark 1 strun is useless because you can just get the strun for basically the same price and it's better. And then the strun Wraith is useless because it's worse than the strun Prime, and it's literally more expensive to get. So you end up with 4 weapons that are all the same, except 2 of them are literally useless. And it's just stupid. Like, so you already have enough weapons that are irrelevant in this game, and then DE continues to make irrelevant weapons. And that brings me to the 4 Fervon weapons that they made: the AR, the pistol, the Purgator, and the Visus, the melee. And I don't think I've heard this complaint by anyone else, but when I saw these weapons, I just thought, why? Well, first of all, starting off with the dual Visus, it's good. I was actually using it in the run for some trash clear, and I didn't use it that much, but from when I did use it, it was really good. And that's because it has innate gas, which pairs really well with melee influence. And that just kind of shows, like, I'm not even asking for much. I'm not asking for them to do something super special with the weapons. I just want a reason to use it. And the dual Visus, all they did is give it innate gas, and that's enough of a reason to use it, because that's useful. The Purgator 1, which is like the slug launcher or whatever, makes a gas cloud on headshot, or headshot kill, I don't remember. It's not super meta or anything, but that's an interesting perk, and it does decent damage, so that's a good enough reason to use it. But then the AR is there, and the pistol, the Mars, it would probably be better if it wasn't there, because it's absolute dog shit. People were comparing it to the Stug, which is just fucking embarrassing. So my question is just like, why? What's the point of making new weapons and making them trash, making them irrelevant, and then just forgetting about them. And the thing about it is, because of the dumb mastery rank system, everyone will get the weapon at some point if they do want the mastery XP. But that's not an excuse to just make useless garbage and just bloat this game with more trash weapons, I feel. I don't want much. I just want weapons to have some sort of reason for me to use them. And then one last final thing is just like a lot of the new Fervon weapons they made. Part of the reason why it's so dumb to me that they're useless is because they're locked behind the latest quest in the game. You have to get rank 5 with what is currently the latest syndicate in the game. And as a reward, you get a massive steaming pile of dog shit, so it just doesn't make sense. You're not being rewarded with meta weapons for, you know, completing the main story. You're just getting free MR fodder, which is stupid. And an example of what I'm talking about done well is with the Duvirian Carnon weapons. Because they're the best weapons in the game and they're locked behind, you know, Steel Path Circuit. So that's all great. But the problem with that is that they dwarf everything else in power by such a large margin. It's just, it's insane. So now you just have new weapons where, I mean, that's its own problem with how overpowered Incarnons are, I feel. But now at this point, I'm not, you know, I'm not saying make the best weapons in the game locked behind the Tekrot Encore stuff. I'm just saying make them interesting. So just to kind of conclude everything I said, one, some of the Coda weapons are just lazy and boring, which is disappointing. Two, the devs will either nerf a weapon if it's too overpowered after release, or just completely forget about it, even if it's underpowered and needs some adjustments, which is disappointing. Three, there's way too many useless weapons in this game, and the forgotten weapons I just mentioned only add to that pile, which sucks. And lastly, it's not that hard to make a weapon interesting, so just give every weapon a point to exist other than just for MR fodder. And also try to somewhat align the power of weapons with how late into progression they're unlocked. But that's basically everything I had to say. This was supposed to be like a little mini rant at the beginning of the video before I just showcased more of the level cap run, but at this point this is basically a fucking movie. If you watched all of this, I'm surprised. So yeah, as I said, I'll show the builds and any dumbless kills if I even have any fucking footage left at this point. But yeah, I'd like to hear some other people's opinion on this, so please just tell me if you agree with anything I've said, if any of this resonates with you. But yeah, I don't know how to end this, so bye, I guess. I don't fucking know. Oh my god. It's still going. Huh?